Hi everyone, it's so great to be with you at the start of Govtech Week, hosted by the Lithuanian Govtech Lab. It's so exciting that all of us have been able to come together in order to discuss how technology can transform public services, an absolutely critical agenda. All of us here today know the extraordinary potential that lies in the application of new and innovative technologies to old public policy problems. And we have seen over the course of the COVID crisis how technology can play such an important role, not just in testing and tracking those who are ill, but also in helping society cope with some of the challenges of remote working. Now, none of this has come out of thin air. Over the last couple of years, and in Public's case for 4.5 years, we have, along with you, have all been pushing very hard for governments at central and local level to appreciate the enormous potential there is in working with new technologies, and in particular, in our view, working with startups. And I really want to thank all of you for being part of a community that has lifted the understanding of what is possible, an appreciation of the concept of Govtech from its sort of obscure and humble beginnings to what it is today. It's really thanks to you and the work that you do every day that people are now thinking of Govtech as a category of work and as a category of investment in a way that they just weren't years ago when we at Public began talking about Govtech, picking up from some of our American friends who had begun popularizing the concept in the Silicon Valley. Now, at the same time, we've got to be honest with ourselves. Over the last couple of years, we've seen enormous transformation in the way technology has changed other parts of our economy, our society, from insurance to retail to travel. And yet public services have really been far too slow to transform in the way that we've seen the transformation take place in other sectors. And there are some very simple reasons for that, reasons that you will be very familiar with. It's more difficult to sell into the public sector. There's a much greater risk averseness. Frankly, also digital skills up and down the public sector, it remains too low for people to really understand what it is that technology can do. And also, at the highest political levels, there is still a reluctance and a lack of understanding, maybe even a skepticism, and increasingly maybe a fear of what technology can do for public services, or indeed can do wrongly, or perhaps even inappropriately and illegally. So some of these obstacles have really stood in the way of technology transforming public services in a way that we know that they can, in a way that we know that they can make public services more productive, smarter, more citizen-centric, rather than created, as it were, for the sake of the state. Now, the good news is, as all of you will know, and as many of you have contributed to, there are lots of great steps being taken in order to change that dynamic. We have seen the transformation of purchasing across a number of different countries. Of course, I'm most familiar with the G-Cloud market in the UK, but we've seen in a number of other countries, whether from India or the US or Australia or Estonia, Lithuania, a willingness to buy in a fundamentally different way, in a way that allows new and innovative companies a greater chance to show their wares. And at the same time, there's an increased interest in upskilling public servants, not in learning how to code, but in appreciating what technology can and perhaps what technology cannot do, so that a different kind of dialogue can take place with the market. So a lot of great things are happening, many of which you are contributing to. At the same time, I think we should be honest with ourselves. The crisis that we've just gone through has shown the enormous value of technology for healthcare, for education, for helping the economy operate in a sustainable, if remote, fashion, helping welfare distribution, helping tax authorities engage both with citizens and companies. But it's also shown some of the real obstacles that we have to fix if we really expect a massive breakthrough, and a breakthrough particularly in Europe. And what are those challenges? We should be honest, it is far too hard to sell into the public sector. It is still too easy for legacy providers and incumbents to provide just a renewal of their services rather than having a situation where new and innovative companies can offer their wares. And it's too hard once they've done that to evidence the impact of what they have achieved on behalf of public services, whether it's savings or better service. And as a result of that, it's too hard for them to scale into a much broader remit across the public sector. So we still have a problem around outsiders with new ideas being able to sell new technology and help transform public services in partnership with public officials, and then scaling those solutions. And partly because cause of that is that we still have a lack of digital skills across public services. Now, loads of you here, I would argue probably all of you here, will not fall into this category, but we are in a way the vanguard of the revolution, as Vladimir Lenin would have said, and we are all embedded in a much larger set of systems where in the main people still do not have the requisite digital skills in order to feel comfortable with what technology can offer, and that really is something that we need to go and fix. A third problem is that as an investment category, Govtech is still very much in its infancy. So we've seen a number of great successes by Govtech companies, and that of course has driven increased investment. So there's definitely a change in the market, and if you look at any numbers, we've definitely seen an exponential growth compared to 4 or 5 years ago, but it's still very nascent compared to so many other adjacent sectors, despite the fact that in this sector there is the potential for enormous transformation affecting so many lives and proper returns. So as an agenda item going forward, it's going to be absolutely critical that we look for ways to support investment into the sector. So those are some of the challenges that I hope that we can discuss at the Govtech week. On the 29th of September this year, we will be hosting our Govtech Summit online as well, and I hope to see many of you, back. We would like to have hosted it in person in Paris, as we've done in previous years. That unfortunately isn't going to be possible, but who better than this community in organizing an event that's going to be online only. So I hope very much that all of you will come back on the 29th of September to continue the conversation that we've got going on. That's it for me. I wish all of you a fantastic Govtech week, and I can't wait to see and participate in some of the conversations going on.